Alright, gonna do a video today. It's been a while since I've done a video. Been chasing RV problems and some other issues, but I had a comment on one of my older videos about the Spasnez, I think that's how it's pronounced, shovel, Special Forces shovel, and this is from Cold Steel, and they wanted to know how I sharpen this. Okay, first of all, this is primarily a shovel. So this edge, I keep the bevel the angle pretty steep. You get this too thin, it's going to chip when you're actually digging with it. This is maybe a tad bit too sharp, but it's been working. I don't have a lot of rocky soil. Now these edges, you can get pretty sharp. Now if you sharpen these up, lower the angle profile, I would not recommend hacking roots while they're in the ground. Dig around the root, get a clear shot, and then you can hack with them, because you don't want to chip this on rocks. And what I use to sharpen it is this Harbor Freight. Cost me 50-60 bucks. Good little unit. I've got one of those really small they get from the sporting goods stores to sharpen knives. Cost me more. The belt availability isn't as great, and they don't last as long. This you can get 30 grit all the way up to like 1,000 grit. You can get leather belts for these to do your final polishing on. So this is very versatile. I would recommend this for doing knife sharpening. When I make knives, this is what I do my final sharpening on. I've got a 72 by 2 inch belt grinder I use for everything else, and rough out my handles on that one, but my final touch-up work is done on this little one here. Now it's 1/4 horsepower. You can push something against here and it will stop it. Just be aware of that. But this is really worth having for the average person more than the bigger 72 inch one, because this can actually be used for, or it's worth using it for more stuff. I don't like doing my final sharpening on my bigger 72 inch just because you know me, I've gotten used to doing this, and this gives me a little bit more control. I've taken off the top guard and the side plate to make it easier to remove belts and do some of the sharpening or shaping on right here. But I would recommend getting one of these if you're going to sharpen axes, shovels, knives. It's inexpensive. It's better than getting one of those super hunting knife and axe sharpeners. The one that's I think it's a 1/4 inch. It might be a full inch, but it's like almost 90 bucks. And this one cost me about 50 or 60. And if you get a coupon, they're even cheaper. But anyway, let me show you how I sharpen this thing to keep it ready for use. It's a little bit dusty. Everything's dusty in my shop today. Hang on a minute. Put my gloves on. And the reason is you can snag a finger or a hand on one of these. That's what that's from. Normally I would be wearing a mask, but I'm not really going to be doing a lot of sharpening today. So this is what I use. This is what I'm sharpening. This edge should be blunter, a greater angle, not like this, because this is what's going to go into the ground and find the rocks and all the other nasties. You can sharpen this to however sharp you want it, depending on how much you want to damage a branch or how thick of a branch you want to hack through. That's what I recommend. When I turn this on, that's all you're going to hear. That's how I do it, and you can do it however you want to do it, whatever angles you want to put it at. You can do it down like this, however it's comfortable for you. The main thing is, in my opinion, these should be sharper at a lesser angle for cutting. This should be kept at a higher angle for digging, and it will prolong the use of this blade. If you get this too sharp, it's going to chip. You see people throwing it in the wood, the short ones. It's not made to be, I mean, it is made to be thrown in the wood, but that's really not its purpose. And this will still stick in the wood, just not very deep. But I want to be able to dig with it without chipping out large parts of the edge and having to reprofile. But this gives me the chance to hack through some limbs if I need to without having to resort to going to get or pulling out a knife or a machete. But that's how I sharpen these. One of these days I want to make a sheath for this. Again, this is the unit I use, the one I recommend. I'm going to turn it on for a minute. That knob adjusts the tracking. There's no tension knob on this, and I got some green belts for it, ceramic, and they seem to stretch and don't work as well as these. And since I'm not using them for any heavy hog grinding, I don't use those belts very much anymore. I'm going to let them wear out and probably not replace them. And but like I said, my other video will explain more about why I picked this up, why I really like it. And this is what I use for it. If you're going to do any amount of sharpening, pick one of these up. Go to Amazon, 1x30" belt, look it up. There is a crap load to choose from. I'm going to end up getting a Scotch-Brite and maybe a leather final straw belt to put the final edge on some of my smaller knives. My bigger knives don't need that. But again, one last time, sharper cutting edge, blunter, less of an angle, more like a regular shovel or an axe, digging edge. And if you do that, you won't have a problem with this, or you shouldn't have a problem with this. But anyway, like I said, I had a question about it from one of the people who watch my videos. It's been a while since I've done a video, so I thought I would answer his question, and hopefully it will. But that's how I sharpen it. This is what I use to sharpen a lot of stuff. And thanks for watching. And remember to subscribe and like. But again, thanks for watching.